Welcome back to Afternoon Express this glorious Friday afternoon, and we're about to get ready with our second dish of the day in the kitchen with Clem. So we're doing jam.
It's a curried tomato jam. But now the discussion about jam versus chutney, it's kind of a cross between both.
Yeah.
So it's a jam in the sense that it's going to store it, it's going to keep in your fridge forever.
Lovely.
But it's also quite spicy and like very savory, like
What
I said.
is the difference between a jam and a chutney, though, in this instance? Wouldn't a jam be a little bit sweeter than a chutney?
But that's what I'm saying. That's kind of true, yes.
Okay.
And this is why this dish is kind of a cross between both, because it is sweet.
Lovely.
We're using the salati demerara sugar today.
Yeah.
And then again, that savory note just kind of crosses it into the chutney territory.
Oh, yum.
Yeah.
And it's going to go without my amazing cheese board that I made.
Which is exactly why I'm doing it. So let me just turn down this pot.
A good cheese, a fabulous little preserve, like what you're making now. Oh, yum. Can't wait to get stuck into
weekend
that thing.
done.
Okay, so how have you gotten started here?
I've got some onions in some olive oil, and it's slowly cooking away. And a good tip is to actually add some salt to your onions while that happens. What happens is it draws a natural liquid out of it, so it cooks perfectly soft, but it doesn't brown too much, which is kind of good. It's what you want.
Okay, now can I impress you with my chefiness?
Tell me.
If you use red onions, doesn't it come across a little bit sweeter than normal onions?
That's right. Yes. Oh my goodness, look at you, look at you.
Okay, so have you used the red ones in that?
I've used some red onions in here, again, because I want that natural sweetness, like you said.
Lovely.
So for the natural sweetness that's in there, it comes out, and it just aids the sweetness of the jam. So that goes in there, and then we've got our beautiful garlic, ginger, and other spices. So let's talk through it quickly.
You're going to use all of that?
Hey?
Oh, I love how decorated you are in the kitchen. You are just so full on.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Garlic goes in.
The whole load.
And a lot of ginger.
That is a lot of ginger.
I love ginger with it.
Yeah.
Goes in. Pepper.
That is a lot of pepper.
Is it really? Well, we're going to add
Chuck it in.
There'll be a lot of other ingredients in there, so there's not too much. Then I've got some coriander seed that I've not ground too much. You want some texture in there. Mm-hmm. And that also goes in.
Go, hoi.
Some ground cumin. And then some chili. Just about that much. Jokes, all of it. So that's all going to go in there. And the thing when it comes to cooking spices and your aromatics like this, you want to cook it on its own like this until you can smell it really, really well.
Delish.
So the next step is I'm actually going to add a little more oil, because when you add the spice, you see it tends to make your pot a little dry. At this stage, you can use water if you really want, but I like oil. Just toast it a little bit.
Olive oil.
Olive oil is amazing.
Yeah, it's best.
You can use sunflower if you want, totally
It's
fine.
the nectar of the gods.
It is. So that's going in. We can smell it beautifully. Then I've got some dried curry leaves. So fresh is amazing.
I've even heard of that. I want to smell that.
Because it's quite dry, it's quite brittle, which is amazing for this, because we're actually going to crush them. So it breaks down. You're not going to end up with a big curry leaf in your mouth. You don't want to do that.
No.
Cool. Give it a mix. You can smell that already. It smells so amazing. And then in go our tomatoes. And I'm using rosa tomatoes. Rosa tomatoes, you see, we're crossing cultures here. It's like Italian tomatoes with Indian spices.
I love it.
Rosa tomatoes have a lot less water than normal tomatoes. It's got quite an intense tomato flavor, which is what you want.
Okay.
So in they go.
All.
It's quite a lot, but it's going to cook down.
Yes.
And then you give that, don't waste. And you give that a mix. And you're going to put the lid on right now. And you're going to probably want to add water right now because it looks so dry, but don't. Once you put the lid on, the natural sweetness and moisture of the water comes out slightly. That becomes the base of our jam, chutney. And imagine after a few minutes, it's nicely broken down, and in goes our demerara sugar. Now, Salat, if you can look at this, it's quite fudgy, quite jammy already.
I love when you touch it and then it looks like it's still moving.
And it moves by itself.
It's great.
So
it's so caramelly.
It is. It feels like it's alive. So Salati demerara sugar is great for this one because of the fact that it already has that natural jamminess aspect to it. So I'll go with about, I know it sounds like a lot, but you're not going to use a lot at one time. 6 tablespoons of sugar, okay? And that's going to cook down, and you're going to get that nice fudgy, jammy consistency.
Yummy.
I know it sounds like a lot of sugar, but you're not going to have a plate of chutney or jam at one time.
Exactly.
Like literally a tablespoon.
But
so you mix
I'm
that
such a fan of things like this that I know we're mixing it with a cheese board, but I would even use this on a Monday morning on a slice of toast.
And this on toast is so good. It's so good. So once it all cooks together nicely, the sugars are starting to come out of the tomato. It's kind of going to have it's going to be more sweet than anything else. You want to counteract that.
Yes.
Food is all about the balance. So what I use is vinegar. You can use white vinegar, brown vinegar, sherry vinegar, white wine, red wine vinegar, anything. Just add that, and that's just going to cut through all the flavors that you got happening in your pot. Put the lid on, turn it down to a low heat. Let's cook for like about half an hour, and what you're going to end up with is
Ta-da!
this beautiful jammy consistency over here.
Oh, yeah.
So let's get it in our jar. You've got a clear jar over there.
I do.
You can see what I'm saying when I say it's cross between a jam and a chutney.
Yes.
So that's what you're looking for. And you can take the skins off if you want. I don't really mind them. Would you mind the skins being on there?
No, I wouldn't.
So let's just get that
I'm
in
a
there.
big tomato fan.
This is great. I mean, the truth is this stirred through pasta is amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely. And it really does keep forever. It keeps quite a long time in the fridge because of that sugar that's in
throw
there.
sun-dried tomatoes in there for a
You
little?
could. That will intensify the tomato flavor so much. So because we've got the demerara sugar in there, sugar actually acts as a preservative as well.
Okay.
So it's going to keep for quite a long time. And that's our delicious chutney / jam to go with our cheeses. And I think that'll be pretty delicious with that blue cheese over there.
I know. Oh, good. I'm very proud of this little cheese board over here. Oh, the recipe you'll find on afternoonexpress.co.za, and I definitely recommend this. I think there's a lot of options for it. If you don't mind, I'm going to take this to the guests. Over to you, Bonang. Cheese incoming.
Looks amazing. Looks absolutely
This is
amazing.
so
Don't drop
good.
anything, please.
I hope you guys like cheese.
Oh, they're hungry. That looks incredible.
You know, I've just been
Well
slaving
done.
in the kitchen for hours.
Look at
on
all this hard work. Thanks,
How
Jean.
amazing is that?
This looks phenomenal.
Okay.
Well, gentlemen, you're more than welcome to tuck in. While we do that, Bumandla, quickly, there's so many things I wanted to ask you. But for anybody that is watching the show right now, wants to come to the theatre, words of inspiration as to why they should come see this particular stage production of Ikelela Mawele.
This is the remembering of identity, excavation of the buried stories to feed the living. This is a story that is directed by the multi-award winners Thando Tony Mandlambotwe, designed by Fahim Patin, set design by Alfred Rittman, and costume design by Neba Jadezweni, and musical direction by Bongi Mansai. It's actually directed and performed by the highest art of quality. You
Yes.
cannot miss it.
You do not want to miss it. Upud Manza has told you. And of course, Masizolo, good luck with the rest of the run. Good luck. I'm definitely going to go watch it,
No,
right?
me too. Because we were
Absolutely.
discussing, even though the play is
Yes.
isiXhosa, you will be able to understand it if you don't speak the language.
Absolutely.
Even though Bonang's teaching me.
Certainly. Every day. Well, a big thank you to Sydney and Sybil. Thank you so much for coming. You guys are absolutely so inspiring. Lovely to finally meet you. Jeans, are we ready to tuck in?
Definitely, cheese is my jam.
Cheese is your jam. I love it. Well, next Monday, we've got one of our favorite guests back in the lot, blogger and author Dorothy Black. And she's here to take us through how to spice up your relationship. So trust me, you don't want to miss it. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for watching from all of us here at Afternoon Express. We'll be back on Monday. Mwah! Good evening
Ciao.
and happy